Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to another video. And in this video, I'm basically going to be showing all of my settings, keybinds, game options. All of that is going to be pretty much shown in this video. I'm going to be going through each and every tab in the options and pretty much showing you how I have everything set up. So graphic settings, audio, game, controls, everything. So it's all going to be explained in this video. I'm going to run through each tab separately. If you want to skip ahead, you can do. I've got the chapters down below in the timeline. So if you do want to cut out some parts of this video, you can skip through the chapters down below. Just a pre-warning to get started. For this video, you will need a Logitech G502 Hero mouse. I'll have a link for that down in the description if you want to buy one. I think it's currently $34.99 on Amazon. I'm not too sure though. I think it is around that price. I have got another keybinds video that covers all the keybinds for a regular gaming mouse. It just needs 2 side buttons on it. So if you don't have the G502 Hero, you can just follow that other video and watch that one instead. But yeah, for this one, you will need a G502 Hero. This is optional, but I also use these USB foot pedals. I'll have a picture on the screen right now. So yeah, for the perfect combination of keybinds, I would highly recommend getting both of these products. I'll have links in the description and stuff, but basically I'm going to be showing you why these 2 products combined make the best keybinds possible in DAYZ. Before we get into the keybinds and stuff, I'm going to get through all the other options first, and we'll look through all of them right now. Keep in mind, obviously, this is for the PC version only. I don't play console, and if you are starting out on PC and you don't really know how to have everything set up, this video is definitely going to be for you, and I would highly recommend just watching it all the way through. So we'll go to options and we'll start with the game tabs. So I've reset all of this to default. So one of the first things we're going to do is turn bleeding indication. We're going to turn this off, so disabled. So what this does is basically, if you get shot, you'll have like a bleeding symbol that comes up on the screen, and yeah, it's going to get quite annoying. So I normally keep this off. I would highly recommend turning it off because it does get really annoying. Keep all this the same. Field of view, I always have this on max. Obviously, this way you can see more terrain, see more players, whereas by default it's quite zoomed in and the game just doesn't feel the same. I personally think this looks good all the way up. So field of view, whack that all the way up. Show HUD, yeah, we'll keep all this on. So yeah, these are the primary ones for that. That's all done. So before we switch over to the other tab, all you need to do is press apply. And then that has saved all of these settings that we've just done. I mean, we've only done 2, but yeah, it will save them. So now we're going to switch over to the audio tab. So this is how I have my audio set up. I'll have the master volume around here, effects, music, turn it all the way down, and ambient music, turn that on, enabled. Voice volume, so this is when you're talking to players in-game with the proximity chat. Have this all the way up. I think it is by default, but just keep it all the way up, just so obviously people can hear you clearly and stuff. This is all a matter of preference as well. You don't have to copy these exact settings, but for me personally, this is what I find to be the best for playing DAYZ. So same again, we've done the audio tab, we'll press apply, and now we're going to get a bit more technical and go into the video tab. So display mode, I'll keep this on full screen and I'll show you why in a minute, but full screen. And then resolution, you want to copy your monitor's resolution. So mine is a 1440p monitor, but most people do have or will have a 1080p monitor, so 1920 by 1080. So to find your monitor resolution, all you want to do is come to the bottom left and search for settings, then come to system. Then here you want to come to display, and here is the layout of your monitors. So I use 3, and my primary one is this one, number 1. So if we go down to display resolution, it will tell you the recommended resolution for this monitor. So mine is, like I said, a 1440p, so it says recommended. And say this other one here, this is a 1080p one, so if I click on this, it'll tell me the recommended is 1080, or 1920 by 1080. Yeah, that's how you find out what resolution your monitor is. So switching back over to DAYZ, just keep this at the resolution your monitor is. So mine's this. Brightness, I keep this halfway. If it's turned all the way up, the screen will just look white, and it doesn't look very good. So I keep this right in the middle, just there. VSync disabled, and then here we're going to come to the graphics settings. Personally recommend choosing custom and then changing all these manually. Terrain visibility and object visibility, I'd keep these on high. Let me demonstrate what this does. So as you can see, if I turn this both up to extreme, you can see much more of the background has rendered in. You can see mountains really far away, and basically all the terrain will load in at further distances. So that's pretty much what this is. So if you have a ridiculously powerful PC, you could have this turned all the way up, but mine is a pretty average PC, so I'm probably not going to have this on extreme, because if I save this and show you, I'm currently running about 60 FPS, which is okay. But say if I'm running around a bigger city like Electro, I will get some lag spikes. And yeah, the game overall is quite laggy on these render distance settings. Like I said, unless you've got a really powerful graphics card, I wouldn't have this all the way up. So terrain visibility, object visibility, I'll have these both on high. I think that's perfect for the game. You don't really need it too high. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is object detail, texture, and shadow detail. Pay attention to the screen as I turn this up. So object detail is basically just, you know, the terrain, the grass, trees, leaves. So what I do is keep this on high. And like I said, it's basically just what your PC can handle. That's pretty much all this is. So just mess around with this. Try and get the best looking graphics. Keep in mind your FPS. You want to be playing like above 60. You don't want to keep dropping. So just bear that in mind when you're editing these settings. But I'll have this on high. Same with the texture and shadow detail, so keep that on high. To save you some time, I won't go through every single graphics setting. I'll just have a pause on the screen, so if you just want to pause the video here and copy these settings over, that's fine. Just kind of try and balance that FPS with the nice looking graphics, and then we're going to move on to the next settings. And yeah, that is pretty much exactly how I would set up the game video settings. So of course, once you've done with all that, don't close out of anything, just click apply. If I disable the HUD, you can see the game looks quite nice. So there is one final graphics setting that I changed, not within DAYZ, but on my PC. And this will make everything look a bit sharper and cleaner. So I'm going to show you that real quick. Okay, so to enable those graphics settings that I was talking about, you want to come to the bottom left and search NVIDIA, the app. And once you're here, you want to come to the left, graphics settings, and then come to global settings. And then you want to come all the way down to image scaling. Click this one. And then by default, I think it'll be off, but you want to turn it on. And then you want to sharpen it to about 75 and 70%, somewhere in between there. And that setting there is just basically going to sharpen every game in full screen mode. So it's going to make your game look so much cleaner, and it's going to give more detail to the textures. And that just about covers everything for the graphics settings. I would highly recommend keeping it as this. Of course, you can mess around with this and make it more custom to your build, but this is perfect for mine. I don't know if OBS is picking this up, but the game looks really clean. And yeah, that is pretty much it for that. Alright, so now we're on the controls tab. We'll get into the final part of the video. Before I get into that, I'm going to look at the sensitivity settings. So for the camera vertical and horizontal, I'll have these at 65. And then for my aiming for the weapons, I'll have this lower at 40. Or maybe 45 probably. So that looks good to me. Apply. Okay, so finally we're going to be moving on to the keybinds. This is probably the most important part of the video. Alright, so before I get into the keybinds, we need to switch over to the Logitech GHUB app. This is basically where we configure all the keybinds on the mouse app before doing it on here. So let me show you that real quick. I'm not going to get too much into the mouse itself and all the different settings and stuff, but I do have a completely separate video that covers all of the mouse settings and everything you need to know about it. I'll have a link in the description and a clickable link at the top of the screen. So if you want to learn all about the mouse settings and stuff, just follow that video and I'll explain everything on there. But for now, I'm just going to keep it simple and show you how to edit the keybinds on DAYZ, assuming you know the way around the mouse. So this mouse has 11 programmable buttons on it. So it's perfect for gaming. You've got loads of different customization options. You can obviously do whatever you want with these keys. So it's got 11 of them. And also if you go to view 2, you can see the 3 side buttons as well. Got all these different buttons on it, highlighted by these lines that you can see. So basically just copy what I do in this next few minutes. So we're going to go to view 2 and we'll start with the side ones to keep it nice and simple. So we're going to go to keys at the top left here, and we're going to search num, and then number 1. So we're going to drag and drop. This is how you assign keys to the mouse. You just click and drag and then drop, and then you'll see this line, it lights up blue when it's ready to have a new key put on it. So just let go, and now we've assigned number 1 on the keyboard to this button on the side. So we're going to basically repeat the steps for all of the keys, and yeah, let's get on into that. So the next one we're going to have is shift. Left shift is this one, it's just called shift. Drag and drop. Once we switch back over to the game, I'll explain what all of these are for. But for now, I'll just keep it nice and simple and show you after. So just copy what I do. Right, so that is the side mouse buttons done. We're going to switch over to the main ones. First thing you want to do before doing this is go to onboard profile cycle, disable. And then you want to come to the top left and select system. Search DPI. Then you want to look for DPI cycle. So drag and drop. So what this basically does is, let me show you with my webcam on, 1 second. You'll notice this button at the back here. If I press this, my mouse sensitivity settings will now cycle through all 4. I keep it on this, so 2 lights at the bottom. This is like the medium sensitivity setting. I'll show you that real quick on the left. So if you want to come to sensitivity here, and I keep it on 2400 DPI. So that is like the perfect setting for me. It's not too fast, not too slow. And as you can see here, if I click this button at the back, if you look on the left, it will cycle through all the sensitivity options. So 6400, that's ridiculously fast. You probably don't need it that high, especially for DAYZ. Cycle through, keep it on 2400. And that's the 2 lights at the bottom lit up. So now we've got an option to cycle through the sensitivity settings. We can now disable DPI down, DPI up. I said that the wrong way around. Just be careful not to disable primary click or secondary click, as if you disable these, you won't be able to use a left or right click, and it's going to be an absolute nightmare to try and sort out. Okay, so now I've bind all the keys that I need to the mouse. This is what it should look like, and yeah, so as you can see, view 2, we've got the side ones done, and we've got all the top ones done as well. So we've already set up all the keybinds in the GHUB app. Now we have to assign them to DAYZ. So what I'm going to do is go through each tab individually and pretty much show you all of the keybinds, but we are going to be changing a lot with this mouse. What we're going to do is we're going to come to change stance. We're going to click this once, and we're going to press the bottom mouse button where my thumb is. So you can see on the camera here. Yeah, for reference, it's called G4. So it's just this bottom one. Click that. And that will say C because we bind it to C in the app. So that's all good. Now we're going to come down to lean left and lean right. We're going to press X on both of these because we're going to be changing them at the end of the video. So like I said, I'll come back to these. So now we've got rid of E and Q. Those 2 keys are free on the keyboard. So we're going to be using them for something else. I'll show you that in a minute. Ignore all of these next ones and come down to environment action. Just click that. Then click the middle scroll wheel down. I don't know why I said middle scroll wheel, just press the scroll wheel in, and then that will say F. Like I said with this other one, we've bind F to the scroll wheel on the mouse, so now it knows to input it on F. Ignore all these. So for throw item and drop item, it is on G by default. When I'm playing, my left hand is just kind of like this, and I think G is quite an awkward key to reach, especially if you're kind of moving at the same time. You need to quickly throw a grenade. So what I do is I'm going to put this on E, because obviously that's now a free keybind and it's really easy to reach and it's nice and simple. So you don't have to do all this. You can keep it as G if you find it easy. But for me personally, G is a little bit too far out of the way. I'd rather have everything close together so I don't have to move my hand up and down the keyboard. I just keep my left hand on this side right here like this. So what I'll do is delete both of those and press E. Toggle night vision goggles and headlamp. You can keep this on L. You don't normally have to do that too much, so I don't mess with these ones. They're fine as they are. And now we're going to come to sprint modifier. So we're going to click this once, and we're going to press the opposite button next to crouch. So this side one here where my thumb is, it's called G5. So you just press that, and then it will say left shift. Jump and inventory will keep the exact same because they're fine as they are. So that's everything for the character tab. Now I'm going to come over to apply, press apply. Now if we back out, I'll show you what some of those have done. If you pay attention to my hand on the mouse, I can use my thumb on the side button to sprint, which is nice and easy, really convenient, especially if you're in PvP. You need to quickly run around, use your thumb. It's like a shortcut. And the same applies for crouch as well, so change stance. So as you can see, I'm bringing my thumb down, press it once to crouch, hold it in to go prone. So all I'm doing is using my thumb to switch between these two: sprint, crouch, sprint. It's really simple and it's really easy to get used to as well. Especially if you're new to keyboard and mouse, it's definitely going to help you out so much. It definitely helps me. To throw and drop items, it's E, so I can simply move my finger across and it's really easy to reach. And yeah, that's that. So now we've changed everything in the character tab. We're going to come over to the camera tab and start looking at what we can change on here. So there's not too much to change here, but there's a couple of things that I'm going to show you. So I'll leave all these the same, but eye focus we are going to change. So I'm going to click this once. If you pay attention to the camera, I'm going to be using G8 for this button. So it's right on the tip here next to left click. So it's a tiny little button on the end, and then it will say J. Again, this is what we bind it to in the GHUB app. So once you've done that, we're going to look at free look modifier and toggle free look. So all you need to do for these two is delete both of them, and then free look modifier, just press caps lock. And that's how I set this one up. You don't need to have this bottom one on, you just need the top one. Free look modifier, caps lock, and then this one is G8. So once they're applied, just go to apply, same again. All I do is use my index finger to move across and push this button on the end, and that's now my zoom button. So I can scope out enemies really easy. Okay, so if you watch my camera now, I can use my pinky finger on caps lock, which is where it rests anyway. So if I hold in caps lock, I can now look over my shoulders using my pinky, check for players. And then if I want to just reset that, I just let go and then it resets. Okay, so we're almost done. We're now going to be looking at the combat tab. There's quite a few changes on this one, so just copy what I do again. So we're going to start with change fire mode. So I'm going to click this once, and then as you can see on the camera, I'm using my index finger to push the scroll wheel to the right. So I'm not pushing down on it, I'm just clicking it to the right like that. So remember, the scroll wheel does have 3 buttons on it. It has the normal click at the top, and then it has a right push and a left push. So they're all 3 different keys. Click it to the right, it'll say X, that's that done. Heavy attack modifier, so we're going to click this once and use the side button again, which is G5. It'll say left shift again. All we're doing is making sure that the mouse has picked it up as a left shift, so we've now input that on the mouse. And firearm melee, we're going to click this once, then we're going to click down on the scroll wheel, the main scroll wheel button. Change that to F. Reload, so change firearm mechanism, we'll keep that as R, which is perfectly fine. Raise modifier, right mouse button, that one's perfect as it is. Keep these the same. Hold breath, we're going to press this once, and we're going to use sprint, so that mouse button again, G5. Change that to left shift, and I'll show you why after we've done all this. And finally, we've got toggle aiming down sights. So this one is quite important. Don't forget to change this one. So all you want to do is click it and then click the right mouse button. There it is. Apply. And now I'm going to be showing you what most of those have done. So if we back out of that, straight away, if you notice, if I hold right click, it automatically aims in. You don't need to press a button or anything. You can just hold right click, aims in. So it's nice to have that as a hold rather than a click. And also, if we aim in and hold the sprint button, which is on the side of the mouse, we can hold breath using the thumb button. Nice and straightforward. And also now, if you put your weapons away, you can do a heavy melee attack just by holding right click and then hold the thumb button, so sprint, and then just punch. As long as you've got that side button held down while punching, you can do a heavy melee attack. Basically, this side sprint button, the thumb button, is going to do hold breath, sprint, heavy attack. It's got multiple keys bind into one key, so it's really nice and easy. So another thing we changed is we've changed fire mode. So now, as you can see, if I use my index finger, if I use my finger and click the scroll wheel to the right, it'll change to full auto. Just by a simple flick of the finger like that. So now you don't have to reach down to X anymore to change this. You can simply just flick your finger, switch between the two. And for example, say if there's an enemy close by, you need to quickly change to full auto, flick that, and you're done. So it's really that easy, and it's so convenient to have that all on the mouse. It's kind of like having a one-handed controller. It's honestly the best mouse that I've ever bought. Oh, also, I did almost forget to mention as well, the middle mouse button is now the interact button. So you can use F still, it's all still on the keyboard, but you can also use the middle mouse button to interact, open and close doors. You know, you can pick up items, hold it in, grab them just by using the middle mouse button. You don't have to reach over to F. Although you can still use F because this is just a shortcut to the mouse, that's all it is. So all these keybinds, you can still use them on the keyboard, but they've basically been inputted on the mouse as well. One last thing as well, if you want to hip fire any weapon, all you need to do with these new keybinds is double click, right click and hold. So if you double click and hold really quick, you can hip fire. As long as you're holding this down, it will hip fire your weapon. And then to ADS, aim down sight, hold it in. It's like any other FPS game, just hold it in and shoot. Okay, so once you've changed the combat tab, you can come over to others. If you want, you can change vehicle and gestures, but I normally keep these ones the same. They're fine as they are, you don't really need to mess around with these ones too much. So come to others, and we're now going to change quite a few things on here. Okay, so for voice range up and down, what I'm going to do is delete both of these, and then all I'm going to do is click voice range up, and then that scroll wheel, the left click that we haven't used yet, we're going to push that to the left. You can use your middle finger for this, it's a bit easier. So just use your middle finger and click it to the left, and then it will say up. That's all you need on this one. You don't need to bind anything to voice range down. I'll show you why in a second. So push to talk, we're going to delete both of these, and then voice activation, we're going to have the backslash button, which is in between Z and Shift. I'll have a picture on the screen right now. So just the backslash key we'll use for that one. So for quick slot 1, all we're going to do is flip the mouse on its side, and we're going to use this big side button here we haven't used yet. Click that in, and then it will say 1 numpad. So yeah, I'll show you again on the camera. So it's just this big one up here. So now we've done that, we're going to come to quick slot 2, press that, and then we're going to change it to G7, which is just below the zoom button. So it's just this button here. Just click that once. That'll say numpad 2. And finally, we're going to come down to toggle quick slots, and we're going to use Q, as that's now not on the lean function. So you can use that key now. And this is pretty much how I have this set up. So once you're done, apply, and I will show you some of those right now. So let's say I wanted to talk in game chat. All I need to do is double tap the backslash button. And now that will stay on. As you can see, the indicator come on. And now if I use that left scroll wheel click, I can cycle through the voice range options. So obviously if I need to shout to someone, I'll just tap it a few times. And then if I need to whisper, just tap it again. And all you need to do is just press this to the left, and that will cycle through all the voice range options. And then to turn it off, just double click the backslash. And now let's say if I wanted to quickly draw my secondary weapon on the hotbar, I'll just press this one here. I can switch to my secondary. And then let's say I wanted to switch back to my primary weapon, which will normally be an assault rifle of some sort, or whatever you've got. All you do is use your thumb and you press this big side mouse button here, and that will quick draw your primary weapon. Oh, and also before I forget as well, to disable the HUD and the hotbar, all you need to do is press Q once to get rid of the hotbar. If you're holding Q, it will get rid of the icons as well, so all the HUD. So you can kind of have it nice, full screen. If I want to bring back the hotbar, just tap in Q once. If I want to have the HUD without the hotbar, hold Q, and it brings back all of the icons. And that's it. That's pretty much all the keybinds covered. But there is one more thing I said I need to get back to, and I'm going to cover that real quick. We still haven't got any functions on the lean in, on lean left and lean right. So I'm going to show you what I do for that right now. Okay, so this is what I use for the lean in functions in DAYZ. Basically what this is free programmable foot pedals. So you can assign a key to each one of these and have it sat under your desk. I know it looks absolutely crazy. I didn't buy this for DAYZ, I actually bought this for Forza. And I just thought, why not use it in other games? And it's really cheap as well. I think you can pick it up for like £20 off Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check these out. And I'll probably do a giveaway of one of these if anyone's interested in that. Just comment below. And you can use it across many different games as well. So any games that involve driving, you know, you could have accelerate, brake, whatever. You can set this up however you want, but it just adds another layer of customization. So let's say you've just bought the foot pedals for the first time. You will need this software. It's called ElfKey. It's free. I'll have a link in the description as well for this if you want to download it. So you'll need this. You set this up, and then all you do is you'll plug the foot pedals into the back of your PC for a USB port. When you plug it in for the first time, this is what it will look like. You'll have A, B, and C. A being the far left pedal and C being the far right pedal. Okay, so I'm going to start with the far left pedal. So just come and click this once. We don't want it to be on A because that's going to just mess up all your keybinds and it's just going to be annoying. So just click it once, come over to reading key input or keyboard input, and then you want to press the backslash button on the number pad. Once you've done that, it will say numpad minus, and then just press, make sure it says continuous as well, that's really important. So save that. Key has been successfully added. Okay, middle one, I'll have this on control. So press the control, continuous, save, and then finally for the far right pedal, we're going to have numpad plus, so it's just below, obviously minus. Press that once, continuous, save, done. So this is how you set up the foot pedals. And once you're done with that, you can back out of this. Okay, so now we're back over on DAYZ. All you want to do is escape, options, controls, configure keybinds, and then come to lean left. And all you want to do is use the left foot pedal, press it down once, it'll say numpad plus. Right pedal, lean right as the right pedal. And then once you're done, just press apply. I know this looks absolutely insane. It looks stupid, but honestly, this is like the best thing you can ever do. So here's me using it as an example. So let's say I wanted to clear a building. So all you need to do is obviously left foot down, lean left. right foot down, lean right. You can switch. Really easy. Also, it's a cool little accessory to have on the floor as well. It's just an extra little thing for your gaming setup. Obviously, you don't have to use this. It's a bit extreme. You can just keep it as Q and E, or you can swap Q and E around if you want. That works as well. Or even you could use A as lean left and D as lean right. A lot of people do that. That is pretty much it. That covers all of the keybinds that I use, the graphic settings, audio settings, everything you need to know in one video. I'll try and keep it as short as possible, but I can't promise anything. This is probably going to be quite a long video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you use these keybinds and find them useful. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.